We call them paper dolls. And we just had so much fun playing with those paper dolls, and that was so much fun. And when we got older, well, my goodness, we would have parties at the neighbor's home or our home, and we would make, I can remember at our house, because my dad made all the cane syrup. We'd cook that syrup, and then when it got cool, we'd pull it and make us candy out of it. It was completely white. We just pull it so much. We'd have these little dance parties. At my cousin's, we'd go and have dance parties. And Pete Johnson, he could play the guitar and he could sing. And we just had so much fun dancing. And those were the good days, the really good days that we had. Playing paper dolls and making homemade candy and dancing. And even my dad would carry us to the place that they were having the party. And we were so lucky to have a dad to carry us places, and then we'd have people in our home, and young people in our home, and we just had such a good time, such a real good time.
The last dance I went to, Grandpa Hardy, he said, "Have you ever done the choo-choo?" And I said, "No, I ain't never done the choo-choo, Grandpa."
Yeah, I remember that.
And he said, "Well, come on, we'll do it."
Yeah.
And he got out there and he started moving his feet. Yeah, and he got faster and faster.
He taught me how to
And
do
we
it.
did the choo-choo.
Yeah.
And that was a dance I guess he knew growing up.
He used to call square dances. You know, they used to have square dances then. And he called many a square dance.
And buck dance, I don't know what that was. Carl said that night him and Daddy went up there to the church. He come back and he told me, he said, "Y'all saw your daddy out there." So he was center of attention.
Every summer I would pick black bears and sell black bears and buy me a new bathing suit. And that was really a treat.
How many did you have to pick to get a swimsuit?
Oh, I don't know. Well, in those days it wasn't very much money. I got 20 cents a gallon of blackberries, and I would save my money and buy me a swimsuit.
We had fun on the farm. There wasn't too many neighbors around, but we had fun with just around the old farm place.
We never know nothing about nothing but farming till way after me and Willie married. The first car I seen was after me and Willie married, my first husband. Mm-hmm. We never know what a car was. Wagons and just buggies that just come in.
Yeah.
During that time, we just on the farms, you know, we just made our living on the farm. We didn't go to the store and buy. Well, our livings would come out of the field. And if we didn't make it, we didn't eat.
We had went down to Turkey Creek to celebrate my mother and Dad's 50th wedding anniversary. And we had taken Betty Sue and Elaine, Patricia down. And I was in the kitchen helping Mama put some new shelf paper and stuff up. And Carl was out there helping Daddy on the fence. Daddy was building a fence and he was painting it red, white, and blue. He came around to the back of the house and he hollered and he said, "Jessamy, the house is on fire." Of course, he had a water hose, but the fire was pretty much taking the toll on the house because the house was made out of pure cypress shingles and wood and everything, and the house burnt in little or no time. And they only saved her cedar chest, Carl, and somebody else went back in just before the house collapsed and pulled out her cedar chest. But she lost everything else, which was a total loss. And we had their 50th wedding anniversary across the street in the church, and Daddy, he got up and he said, well, he said he was starting out 50 years ago just like he did, only he was a lot older and a lot wiser. But he was really blessed because the people around Turkey Creek, he helped everybody, and they remembered him and everything, and he didn't go liking for nothing because the lady that had this cafe down in Turkey Creek, she had some apartments and everything, and before the house was still burning, she made it down there. She'd heard about it. She come down there and she told Daddy, she says, Uncle Hardy, you have a place to live as long as you want to. It won't cost you a penny. So Daddy and Mom moved in the apartment there, and they lived there until Daddy could build a house back. And he was a well thought of person. He was a people person, and he helped everybody, and he loved life, and he lived it to the fullest, I think.
Tell us when the first missionaries came through here, Aunt Susan.
Missionaries, they walked. They didn't have nothing to go, but they was afoot.
Where they come from?
And they had these little tin suitcases.
Come from Alexander?
And they walked and they'd have blisters on their feet to one house to another, maybe no telling how many miles. Cause people wasn't thickly settled them days and time. They lived far apart.
Yeah.
And they walked. And they'd have to pull off their shoes and let their feet rest, and sit on them little cases, out under a shade tree till they kind of rested up and they'd start again. And they'd go, then they'd move to another house, because they get to it. Now, they was way off one time on the road and said they didn't know really where they was at. But they was trying to hunt some of the members, where they could go. And said they had us down the shade tree, and they said, well, we'll sit here and rest a while, and maybe we'll get direction where to go. Well, so just sitting on their little suitcases or wondering and talking there to us. And said directly you heard a boy coming down the road whistling. And he was whistling, let's see now, something about the prophet. Prophet's voice, I believe. In the song.
Come listen to a prophet's voice?
Yeah, I believe that's the song that's a whistling. It says, oh, we're good now, says we're finding some of the Mormons are coming down that road. And so they stayed, and the boy come up and said, they introduced themselves, said, well, I'm a member to the church, come on, we're going home. So they carried them on into their home, and they just kept them there a day or two, and they rested up, and we moved further on. And that's the way we met them. They come on Tower House after me and Willie Mayer. Well, they come to Daddy's before I was just a little kid.
Yeah.
First, Daddy'd take them in there and stay all night,
That's up at Lake Cove?
Get up and go again. On
Up
Lake
at
Cove, yeah.
Yeah, up there.
And, but Daddy and them didn't belong to the church, but he'd take them in. He didn't turn nobody else. We'd take them in, and then we'd feed them. They'd stay all night there with Daddy.
Who was the first one to join the church in our family?
Well, I guess me and Calvin.
Yeah, that's it.
Me and Calvin. I don't know, I was kind of silly. I tell you. I tell you the story. It's rather funny. But I tell you, me and Willie first married. I wanted to belong to the church. I just wanted to go to some church. Well, he says you better wait and see what church you're going into.
Oh, God.
Well, I said, I don't know. I said, you got to be baptized to be saved, but you don't, you go to hell. If you drown and before you're baptized, you go to hell. Well, he says, I don't know whether you do that or not. He says, we better wait and see. But I just wanted to go to be baptized. I was afraid I was going to die and go to hell, if I wasn't baptized.
Right.
Well, anyhow, he went away. But then they come a time that the old, you be preacher down here at Turkey Creek. Oh, theirs are just a fries up saying, they're just having the Holy, getting the Holy Ghost and falling out, and they'd fan them, bring them to, I just got all scared. I said, my goodness, if I don't get something done mental, I'm going to die and go to hell. I said, I sure want to be baptized. Well, Willie said, you ain't going to be baptized. And then they were showing them a picture. No, I went to church. I said, I want to go to church. Well, he says, let's go to church. But I said, I'll tell you one thing. So if you get up and go to that bench, I said, I'm going to go up and get you. I said, oh, no. I said, I may not go to that church. I may not go to that thing. Well, they got the hollering and whooping, you know, and going on. So I got up and went to the bench, you know. I wanted to be saved. I didn't want to die and go to hell. So he walked up there and he got me by the arm and he led me back to the seat. He said, we're going home. So we went home. He said, what's the matter with you? I said, I don't know. I said, I want to be baptized. But he said, just wait a while and see. I was damn silly, you know. Anyhow, I walked on, rocked on. I directed the Mormon elders got to coming around. Well, he read the Bible a whole lot, but I don't know. I read a little bit, but I couldn't read a lot much. He couldn't read too much, but he read a whole lot more than I did. Well, I said, I don't know what to do, but I said, I'm going to be baptized. I said, I don't want to die and go to hell.
Yeah.
And so, well, they come several times to the house. And they hold cottage meeting, you know, there.
Yeah.
And at your daddy's too. And around there, about one of them whole cottage meeting they'd go, and we'd all go to the cottage meeting where they'd hold them. Well, anyhow, I told Willie one day, I said, well, I'm going to be baptized. I said, I'm about Mormon elders. Well, he says, I think you're making a good choice there. He says, I think if any are right, they're right. So
Yeah.
I don't believe the others got good ties to their foundation or whatever they got. So you can join if you want to. Well, I said, I'm going to join the church. I'm going to be baptized.
Yeah.
Well, Calvin come along, and I talked to him. I said, Calvin, don't you want to be baptized? He said, well, yeah. I said, you going to be baptized? I said, yes, I'm going to be baptized. And I said, I want you to baptize with me. All right. He said, I'll be baptized. I said, I believe in it. I believe they are all right. They'll be baptized. So, sure enough, next time they come, we went into it, we went. Well, there's so many people there that I invited them. I come out on the bank. One old woman said, well, you going to hell? I said, no, I've just been baptized. I said, no, I've just been baptized. I said, if I go to hell, everybody's going to go with me. I was still, but thank God I've never been to no other church.
Yeah.
That's my church.
Well, what about,
And that was in,
what was Papa doing? He wasn't.
I was 19 years old.
19.
19 when I was baptized, me and my brother. And ain't never another church bothered my mind or nothing. I know I'm in the right church.
Where were you baptized?
In Turkey Creek down here,
In the Turkey Creek
as you're
itself?
going toward Lake Cove,
Yeah.
in that bend down there.
Huh. In the
Men
Turkey
can-
Creek.
Yeah, Turkey Creek. That's where I was
what was
baptized.
Papa doing back in them time? What was Papa doing? He's waiting.
What was Grandpa Hardy doing? He was waiting to be baptized?
Yeah, he was reading.
He was reading.
2 years after I was baptized, well, him and Heidi and Mama was all baptized. Mama belonged to the Church of Christ. Daddy did too.
Oh, I mean,
All belonged to that. And I don't know, I just wanted to be baptized, and I wanted to be baptized. But after I got in the church and we got to read and I got to study more about the Bible, I knew I was right. I knew I had found the truth.
yeah.
But I didn't know how to find it. I didn't read. I just wanted to jump in and be baptized. But then I didn't have to jump and be baptized. I got it right then.
Well, you and Calvin were baptized the
Yeah.
same day then?
I was the first ones in here. It was they were baptized. It was me and my brother.
Yeah.
So you owe that to Willie for dragging you from that bed.
And then all the kids come up, we baptized them, you know.
Right,
They was all baptized in the church.
right.
Well, you said Grandpa Hardy was studying. What was he studying?
His Bible.
Bible, man, you know that
He's
Bible
still studying that
through
Bible.
and through.
Yeah.
Can you tell about, do you remember when the missionaries first came around, or about how your dad was converted to the church?
Well, the missionaries back there then, it wasn't no roads and highways and anything for them to travel. So they just had to find their way through. I don't know how they ever found out a place. I really don't. But we lived up in there. It wasn't no roads back there at that time, and highways for them to travel. I believe the railroad was in. Maybe they come down the railroad, I don't know. But how they found out a place to begin with, but they did, and they usually stayed about a week at a time at one place. They stayed about a week there to have a home and had cottage meetings and whatnot. So, sure enough, my father and mother and grandmother and all of them and Uncle Calvin, they joined the church back there early. I don't remember what year it was, but before I was born.
The missionaries came to their home in the early 1900s, and they came and knocked on my parents' home, a door, and my dad invited them in, and they told them about the Book of Mormon, and they left them a Book of Mormon. And my daddy read it in just a few months, and my mom said, you know, Hardy said, we're going to starve, because, you know, they raised all their food, you know, but he couldn't put the book down because it was so interesting. And he was ready to be baptized when they came back to visit. And so he was baptized, but my mom was baptized, I think, about 2 years later because she was expecting a baby.
I think it was around 1912 or sometime Papa joined the church, you know, and he was very committed. Mama, I think, was baptized about 2 years afterwards.
My daddy was well known because after he joined the church, and he would travel some with the district leader, and he just really, really enjoyed that a lot. And all, and that's what he was doing, and he had the little chapel there in Turkey Creek, and it was really, you could feel the spirit when you would go there into the meetings, because it was really, really good. And he did a lot of attracting in the neighborhood and here and there, you know. And he said, he made the remark, he says, you know, I have preached for 40 years, but I didn't get a baptism. But yet, he was happy to do that.
It was very important to him.
Very important to him. And he really knew the Book of Mormon. He really did. And anyone he came in contact with, well, he always brought up the Book of Mormon and him being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I'm so happy they joined the church and they had all of us baptized.
And he had a great testimony of the church, and he instilled that in us. Even though we didn't have a church to go to and to participate in, but we learned the principles of the gospel around him and my mother, because Mother would sing, and Daddy, he blessed the sacrament, passed the sacrament, preached and everything, but the seed was planted, and through the years it has grown and multiplied. So I think that's why the church has instilled about